Hey guys, how you guys all doing today? Thanks for tuning in. Today I saw something come up on the Facebook group about this Do-Terra oil holder. Somebody's asked just for a file. Now, if people are having trouble doing simple stuff like this, I want to go ahead and do videos to help you guys. So if you guys ever need any help, feel free to just go ahead and direct message me or whatever, and I'll do my best in my own work schedule to go ahead and try to fit some of these in. I don't like to just send files out or give files out. I like to actually show you guys how to do it. We will be starting to go ahead and release the files that we do in the videos, but I would really like you guys to go ahead and try and do them yourselves. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and try to take this this holder, this picture here, to concept and draw it all out. Now, Carbide Crate has some limited tools at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to kind of work around this. Now, I don't have the exact dimensions or anything to any of this stuff here. I don't have the dimensions of the bottle holder. That would really be your main starting point. That I don't have, so we're just going to go ahead and use some random numbers and still get to this effect, which would be a working piece. Now we're going to start off with just a simple circle. You can just click and drag. You can make it small, you can make it big. It doesn't really matter, because we're going to go over here to parameters and we're going to go ahead and change these settings. So just offhand, I'm going to go ahead and make it just a diameter of 10 inches. We would go ahead and start off with a radius of 5. That's our input for our value here, would be the radius. So we put half of the diameter, and then we click apply. And then as you can see, it made our circle much bigger. Now, I want to go ahead and make this teeny tiny little circle here, which is going to help me get my center point later on. So we're going to go ahead and make this, what I'm going to make this circle based off of is what you would do to connect all these together would be have a piece of, say, all thread, which is a threaded rod. You can get it in, say, a 1/4 inch diameter. And on the bottom here, you're going to want to have a recessed spot on the back side to be able to hold a washer and a nut. So that's kind of what we did this hole over here on this piece for. This is, we're going to discuss that a little bit later on, but we're going to go ahead and make the piece that would go through all of these pieces here, the same hole. So that's going to be an 1/8 of an inch in radius. We're just going to random click in there. It doesn't really matter. We can move it. But we're going to make this 0.125 inches on the radius, and that's going to go ahead and change all of our settings. So your width here is a 1/4 inch now, your height is a 1/4 inch, so you could be able to put a piece of 1/4 inch all thread. Now we're going to move this off to the side, because there's really no, you can't just snap to the center point unless you're clicked onto it. So if you're trying to move a piece from its center to something else's center, it's kind of hard to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw just a random, got pretty close there actually, a random rectangle. So we know the diameter of this is 10 inches. You can go ahead and double check there, it's 10 inches. So the radius is 5, so half of that value is 5 inches. So we want to make this box half and half. So we want it to be able to fit in there. So we're going to make it 5 inches by 5 inches. Select apply. And now you can take this guy and move it right into place. Now if you click the circle and you go right to center, you can see the center point is right where that's supposed to be. Now you can copy, you can just select your square, copy it, take the node, drag it over, and line it up. There you go. You can take that one step further, select them both, select copy, drop and drag that into place. Now we have everything kind of lined up. Everything is overlapping each other. As you can see, we can zoom in and there's nothing going on. There's nothing overlapped. Everything's right on top. So next what we're going to do is we're going to discuss how to lay out these circles right here. There's no array tool as of yet for setting your circles or any objects. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a series of lines. We're just going to do a simple hourglass shape. Go from corner to corner, go across the bottom, back up to the corner, and across the top. Now we have an hourglass. So with that, we have all these lines set. So now we just have to specify the distance we want to put our circles. So if you just say we'll draw a random line out here, and we'll click done. Now you can see up here the parameters. You can select the width of that single line. So we know our width of the entire circle is 10 inches. We're going to go ahead and put circles around them, and we want some space in between that and the edge of the board for some strength. So, and we're going to have something that spins on the inside here. So what we want to do is we want to kind of make it somewhere in between. So what we can do is call it, say if we do a 1-inch circle, if all of our circles are going to be 1 inch, so unselect this guy. So we'll make a circle and we'll call it a 1/2 inch in radius. That gives us a better kind of understanding of where we might want to place this line. Now let's try to shoot for at least the 1/8 of an inch in here. So if we came out here and we have 1 inch and then 1/2 inch, so we have 1/2 inch from the center and then 1/8 of an inch, that's going to be 5/8 of an inch. So we can make this line, it's going to be 4 3/8 to get it right here. So the other 5/8 of an inch is coming from here to here. So 4 inches and 3/8, and 1/8 of an inch is 0.125. So 3/8 is going to be 0.375. So 4.375. Now we're going to go ahead and click that node, and we're going to drop and drag it right there in the center. Now we take this line from the center. That put our endpoint right where we specified. So we can go ahead and select the circle, select it from the center, drop and drag it on that end node. This is in real time, this is 1/8 of an inch. If you were to go turn on your grid spacing, it's 1/8 of an inch. We don't really need to do that right now, but it's dead on. So now we need to set the same space for all these other points. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy that line, and since it's on the same angle right here, we're just going to click and drag it over. Now to get the lines right here, we're going to want to go ahead and copy it one more time. We're going to want to rotate it. It's a simple 45-degree rotation. Now if you click it and drag it, it will line right up. And we're going to get the circles all on the same arc all the way around. So now you can copy it one more time. Control C. Please copy for me. There you go. You guys aren't all going on the same spot, I hope. And I think we just put a bunch of lines on the same spot. Hold on. Yeah, we did. Couldn't see it. Alright. Sometimes that can happen. You can be doing a copy operation. You might not see something going on because it's laying directly on top of it. So we're going to actually do just a flip, horizontal flip, to get this other one here. Now a quick shortcut if you can push Control Shift and select this other guy, and you copy them both, Control C, you get this V up here. And if you do a vertical flip, you can just drop and drag this guy right back down. And then we have all of our points set. So now all we have to do is go ahead and make 1, 2, oh, I forgot some. We need to do these guys, right? So we need to go ahead and copy one more set, rotate it another 45 degrees. We'll call it negative 45 degrees. So it goes straight up. And then we're going to move that. So if you guys didn't get that, a negative is going to rotate your object clockwise, and a positive degree is going to rotate it counterclockwise. So copy that one more time, drop it, drag down to the bottom here. Alright, now we're set to go ahead and do all of our stuff. If you really want to, you can delete these boxes now, and these lines that go all the way through. So we can just delete these. Clean up the workspace, make it a little bit easier. Oh, now we can see. Now we can see what's going on. Alright, now we're just going to do Control C, copy, drag it from the center point, and put it on each of these nodes here. Control C once again, center to node. Control C, center to node. Oops. Control C, drop and drag it. Control C one more time. Control C. That's all I'm doing is Control C. Yeah, keeps snapping back on me. There we go. Finally. Alright, so now this guy, we have a spot to go ahead and drop him now. Since we have all those, intersections there, we know that's dead center. They all intersect at the same point. So that's actually, that part is done. We can go ahead and delete all these lines. And move this up and over to the side. Give us some workspace. So now remember we did this and it was what, 4 7/8 inch? So say we did these guys and they were, I don't know, let's try 7 inches long. So if we made one of these guys right here and we made it 7 inches long. So to do this, it's actually pretty simple. All you need is a rectangle. So say our hole is what, 1 inch wide, so we're going to do the same thing on here. So we're going to need to have 1/8 of an inch on both sides of it. So we're going to add a 1 1/4 inch is going to be our height, so 1.25. And then we said we're going to make that 7 inches wide, and you click apply. So always when you're setting your the parameters that you want, the sizes and everything, when you're inputting that, it's going to be up here in the left hand corner. So click apply, and we have now a 1.25 inch by 7 inch rectangle. But it still doesn't look right, right? We need these corners rounded. It's actually pretty simple. We know two things. We know our height, and if we divide that into 2, we know our midpoint. We know our radius, say. So right here you have a square, you have fillet. You can apply a fillet. So now the corners are rounded. All these things do different things. So the corners are rounded. If you just did a 1/2 inch, it's not going to be correct. It's going to still be a little bit oblong. So you want exactly half of the radius of this. So half would be 5/8 of 1 1/4 inch. So we're going to go ahead and make that 0.625 because 1/8 is 0.125. So we just add those together, click apply, and now we have perfectly rounded corners. Now I'm going to draw some center lines in here, kind of give us some stuff to work off of. Just go from midpoint to midpoint. Alright, so now that we have some grid sets, actually I want to copy this guy. It's in the center because they're going to be holes going all the way through, so that way they're all connected. So we push Control C to copy this once more. Just grab that guy, drag him down, click on the center, drop and drag on the crosshairs. That's why we went ahead and did those crosshairs, so it's an easy visual to know that we are exactly where we want to be. Now we need to go ahead and set these circles. So, since we already have them up here, just go ahead and copy one. We're going to drop and drag it down. Now, in order to get this distance here that we want, what we need to know is the distance from here to here, the distance we want a gap, and the diameter of this. So if we take the diameter of this circle, and we want a gap of 1/8 of an inch, so that's going to be 0.625 inches. It's 5/8. So we take 5/8 from 3.5 inches, because this is 7 inches wide. So we're going to be left with, what, 2 4/8, or 2 3/8, I'm sorry. Hold on, let me do the math. Try and do this in my head real quick. Alright. So we have 3.5. And we have 5/8. Now if we were to do a proper conversion, we make 3 4/8 minus 5/8. And we get 2 7/8. Now if I don't remember correctly, I think 7/8 is 0.875. So we need to make it 2.875 on 1.25. Yep. So alright. And then we drop and drag that from the center. And we're going to copy this piece, drag the node over, and place it right there. Now if you want, you can go ahead and delete the first pink line, so that way now you have your crosshairs, so everything's lined up. So now we're going to go ahead and get to the center of the circle, drag it over. Now you can see everything's nice and perfect and nice and clean. Copy that over here. So yes, a lot of times you're going to have to use math if you're trying to do something like this. It's good to know your fractions and good to know all that stuff. If you have a little bit of trouble, I'm sure there's calculators out there that'll help you. So now we have all these crosshairs. We can go ahead and just delete them. We don't need them anymore. And actually, that's pretty much all I did. So you just kind of determine how high you want to go. Say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stacks high. So if you were going to do this, you just Control C, drop and drag. I'm going to kind of lay these out how I would if we were just going to go ahead and cut them all out. Give them plenty of space so that way you can set your tabs and stuff doesn't go flying everywhere for you. Oops, I deleted it. But if you push Control X, it'll delete. Control Z will bring it right back, and Control C to copy. So sometimes it's all close, so sometimes you accidentally hit one or the other. So now that we have 4 lined up, I'm just going to go ahead and copy all 4 of those. Drop and drag them over. And we need one more for this design. And we want it to go straight up and down, so we're going to go ahead and rotate. And we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to input 90. And then now it brings it straight up and down. Drop and drag this guy right in the middle there. Now what I did up here, this represents the bottom. This actually wouldn't be cut out. What I put it there to kind of show you the placement of where you would want to do the pocket for your bottom washer and your bolt to hold all thread in place. Now you can do it on your CNC. I actually don't recommend to do it on the CNC. This is a very simple task. If you don't know what a Forstner bit is, I recommend you look into them. It's basically a bit that's just going to cut a clean pocket. It's kind of like a drill bit, but it cuts a clean pocket for like a screw head or something like that. So now I would do like a 5/8 inch washer minimum on your 1/4 inch all thread. So if we do 5/8, that's 0.625 inches. Just click apply. That's going to be way too big because that's a radius. You want this to be 0.625. So you can either do the math, do 0.313, which is what it's going to work out to be 0.313, or you can enter 1.25 in the edges. So there's your 5/8 inch hole there. Now I really recommend doing that with a Forstner bit. So alright, let's jump over to setting the tool paths. So if we're going to go ahead and pocket these guys out, we would select them all. This one is going to be an all the way through, so we're going to select that separately. And we're going to go ahead and go to tool path, select contour. I would do a 1/8 inch bit, do a pocket, use your stock bottom. This looks like a 1 inch piece of project lumber from like Home Depot or Lowe's. So like a project panel from there. You just set your speeds however you guys want to. This is how I run my machine. Sometimes I speed it up during the run just so I run a little bit faster, but that's my base. Alright, so now that you have that set, we don't want to go all the way through. We want to go say maybe a 1/4 inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So we'll put 0.25, call it good. That'll give it a nice hold. So 0.25. So this guy, we want to go all the way through. If you can go smaller than that, do it. But if not, it's alright. Just going to go inside left operation and use stock bottom. We're going to add a 1 at the end so it shows the drill through. And then your contour cut. You would set these all separately. So let's cancel that one. So this guy right here, he's on his own toolpath right now. You can go ahead and go back to the toolpath since these are all the same size holes. Push Control Shift, or just hold Shift rather, and come back in here and select all these holes. I guess it is. It wants me to do Control Shift. No, this shift's working now. Alright. Just select all these holes that are all the same size and that are going to go the same depth. So that way you don't have to have multiple operations. You can come back and edit them and add these guys. So now that we have, oh, you turkey. Well, that's something to send in the support. If you're selecting stuff individually and you decide to do a window, it resets everything. That was fun. Sorry about that, guys. Bear with me here. Alright, so now that they're all orange, they're all selected. We want the max depth of 1.01 inside left, or you can do a pocket, whatever one you want to do. We have our step down, that's fine. Just go ahead and do that. Now, once again, those are all on the same now. Now, these ones, we can go ahead and add all these guys. Holding shift, just start coming here and clicking these guys, and you'll add them all to the operation. I'm not going to add this one or do a toolpath for that because I really don't recommend you spend the time to set up and flip this and do all that stuff to do something you could do in 10-15 seconds. It would take you more time to put the Forstner bit in your drill and get the battery, get your drill out, than it would be to actually do the hole. You're already going to have a center hole lined up right here, so it really wouldn't be that hard. So now that all these are selected with these, go ahead and click OK. Now, as you can see, everything is the same. Go ahead and look at the simulation now. And you can see we have the holes, and then we have all the little pockets. So now we want to do our profile cuts. So I'll click the background, start coming in here and selecting all these guys. We can do all of our profile cuts all at the same time. And then contour, holding shift while you're selecting all those. And you're going to do the outside right. You're going to use stock bottom, 1.001 we'll call it, just so you can see it in the simulation. Always use calipers or measure your stock for thickness so that you don't score up your board. I'm going to go ahead and use a 1/4 inch in now. You can use whatever you want. Just what I'm going to put in here. I'm not going to change anything because I really don't care how much time it takes. This is all simulation. Alright, now if you started cutting that stuff, they can go flying everywhere. If you want to come in here, you can add some tabs. Just add yourself some tabs. Just come in here and click on the edges of the stuff. You can come and cut the tabs out later on, or you can go ahead and set another toolpath to cut the tabs themselves. If you do set a toolpath to cut the tabs out, I recommend you go full depth, one pass, and set your feed rate to no more than 50 inches per minute, as not to throw the material. If you have anything faster than 50, you can see entry marks, or exit marks rather, as it'll throw it as it hits the last little bit. But if you're under 50 inches per minute, you should be good to go. Or you can go in here and do it all yourself, cut it all out by hand. Completely up to you. But that's just how you would go ahead and set the tabs. Click OK. Now I'll show a simulation. Now you can see all the tabs are in there. Now you could go in there and cut them off, sand them smooth. Do that all yourself. So I hope this video helped you guys. Once again, if you were going to go ahead and do that, if you wanted to cut out the tabs without having to do anything, just do that for reference. So outside right, we would do full depth in one pass, 1.001, and we'll do that at 45 inches per minute. It's going to be kind of slow, but think of the time you're saving of not having to cut all and sand all those tabs. So outside right, it's only a 6-minute operation, and how long would it take you to cut them all out? even, you know. So hopefully that that helps you guys out. So that way you're in, when you're done, all you got to do is get your all thread it through here, start stacking your pieces through, and then you could get like a decorative end cap or something like it's 1/4 inch, because you're going to cut your all thread to your desired specs anyways. But I really don't have a need for one of these holders, but perhaps we'll make one so that way we can do a make video for you guys. Hope you guys learned something from this, and thank you for watching. Have a great night.